front of you, so when you do talk, please talk into the microphone because we are being live streamed on Facebook. So if your friends say, "Hey, I saw you on Facebook," that's where they saw you. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Citizens Advisory Committee special called meeting for the 2023-2024 Action Plan hearing. We are in the process of putting together our new action plan for the upcoming year. It is part of our 5-year consolidated plan, and I've invited all you guys here as the committee to hear an update on what we have done in the past year and discuss the upcoming action items for the next year. So before we get into all of that, we will do introductions. Mario, if you could start and let everybody know who you are.
Hello, my name is Mario Bisuet, and I'm a financial advisor for Old National Bank.
Thank you, Mario.
I'm Bruce Alp, Apollo Area Alliance and board member.
Bobby McCormick, Duke and Betts Neighborhood Alliance.
Cecil Phillips, Duke and Betts Neighborhood Alliance.
Ann Mulligan, Old Owensboro Neighborhood Alliance.
Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy days. We do have an agenda, and that is in front of you for your convenience. And you each have a copy of the minutes and have received a copy of the minutes previously to review. And when you guys feel appropriate, I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes from the April 7th, 2022 Citizens Advisory Committee meeting.
I make a motion that they be accepted.
Thank you, Bobby. Do I have a second? Thank you, Bruce. All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you for doing that. All right, we will get into the fairly quick presentation. You've seen a lot of this information before. We've grown, I still joke about it, exponentially. Evan Gogol has joined us and has been with us a little, like a year and a half now, is that right? Just about a year and a half. Really? I lost time then. Okay, he's been with us longer than that. He is our housing and grant coordinator and helps administer the programming that we do in the community development department. Terms and acronyms, you guys are pretty familiar with these. Of course, we're here for the annual action plan, which involves community development block grant, home partnership program funds, and that's given to us by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Also, you'll see low to moderate income used, or LMI, used a lot throughout the presentation, and that is primarily the population that we serve. And we will talk about our neighborhood revitalization strategy area, or the NRSA. So just to review what we've done in the past year and a half or so, because the projects have kind of spread out because of COVID. We did complete a new build at 622 Elm Street, and that's the before and after. The St. Paul AME Church was located there previously. We did not demolish it. The church had to demolish that and was gracious enough to work out a purchase agreement with us so we could build a single-family new home. And interestingly enough, we have a 5-member family in that home. And when they finally signed the purchase agreement and the deed, they didn't tell their kids that they had gotten a new home, just brought them home. So it's a pretty neat story. So they were very excited and blessed to have that home. Habitat did build a home next door to 622 Elm Street, and a single family, low to moderate income single family does live in that home. And it's a really beautiful home. We appreciate our flourishing partnership with Habitat and what all Jeremy does. We do have a new build for Habitat at 426 Walnut Street. It is still just a vacant lot right now, but I'm not sure when they're going to start on it, but I think it's soon. They've got a lot of projects in the pipeline. We did complete a new build at 1426 Jackson Street through our CHOTA, or Community Housing Development Organization, and a single family, a young lady lives there now, and she has a daughter, and they are doing very well. Those were all part of our home projects that we use federal programming through. And as you are familiar, the City Commission just did give us community catalyst funds to complete local projects without having some of the federal strings that are tied to the federal funds. So we do have a 50-50 demo program, and this was 113 Sycamore. before and after. We did get that house demolished, and it is now a vacant lot. Our single-family rehab program is very successful. 1532 Herr Avenue was a dilapidated house, and we have an investor who was local, and she doesn't live in Owensboro anymore, but she did rehab that house entirely, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And then on top of that, we had a low-income single mother who, I think grandmother maybe, who was taking care of her grandchild and qualified for our first-time home buyer program. So we double dipped, one in the local pot and then one on the federal pot for that, so it worked out very well. As you know, I mentioned the term LMI, low to moderate income. The majority of what we do is geared towards helping low and moderate income families and people. And so this is what we base our qualifications off of, and it's the income limits summary. We will not get a 2023 update because of the lapse of information from the census during COVID. So they are going to delay the release of that for a little while. So this is what we're going to have to stick with. So you can see that a one-person family must make $40,350 or below to qualify for programs, and accordingly you can look up the chart and see what that qualification would be for 2, 3, 4, and 5 non-member families. And when we qualify people by their income, it's not just one person, it's the entire household income that we qualify them by. So we have traditionally used neighborhood revitalization strategy areas to complete the work that we do within the community. We have done 4 previously: Baptisttown, Old Germantown, Mechanicsville, and Triplet Twist. During that time, we have had a total combined investment of just over $35 million. And you can see the public and private investment breakdown. I'm not going to go through all those numbers, but we choose to do NRSAs because of the ability to maximize the use of those federal funds. It eliminates some of the limits as to what we can use them on as far as public facilities, things of that nature, and then public service caps. And then it does allow us to make a bigger impact in an area. So we don't, with the funds that we do receive, we try to make the biggest impact we can and leverage local dollars to do that as well. So, and I'm happy to give you a copy of this PowerPoint presentation. It'll be available online as soon as we're done with this presentation. So we are currently in the Northwest NRSA. That started in 2020. This information was pulled in 2019 on the left-hand side of the column, and you can see it does run from 2021 to 2025. We have a property value total of about $64.5 million. We anticipate that's going to jump to about $66 million in 2025. Increase in PVA values around $2 million. We are hoping to do 25 down payment assistance projects and construct 20 new homes, renovate 50, and increase the home ownership rate. And you can see the rest of the information down there. And our estimated investment publicly was about 3.6, and then about 3.7 for private, which you can tell we've far surpassed that as of, I guess today, yeah. That's what I updated the numbers. So we have about 4.6 in public investment and 5.8 in private investment, and that's both on the federal side and local dollar side. So those two public investment numbers are put together. I had GIS put together a handy dandy little map, and you've got that in front of you. I know it's kind of hard to dial in on, but it kind of shows the smattering of projects and the diversity of projects and where they're located in the NRSA. We've got commercial facade rehab, demolition, existing homeowner exterior rehab, down payment assistance, new builds. Some of the private projects have been captured because they initially applied for a private or for funding through the program, but they decided to just do it themselves. We also have rental rehab, which has been very successful, single-family new builds, single-family rehabs, and then, of course, you can see the NRSA boundary. So our total project count right now is at 231. You can see how many projects, different projects we've done, and The downspouts we did start this past year, and we have about 55 completed. And we are working with RWA to complete those projects, and they're awesome to work with. We're glad to have them as community partners, and that does help our NSA rating. And I won't get into that because that is not my wheelhouse. But if you want to discuss that later or need more information, I'm happy to do that. Hi, Daisy. No, you're fine. Let's see here. So we are here to discuss the annual action plan, and this, like I said before, draws off the consolidated plan. All the projects that we fund through the federal side serve a goal and need, and then we also have coupled those funds with our local funds to even maximize those dollars. Of course, it's completed annually, and we use citizen participation, which is what this is, as well as having a 30-day public comment period for people to not only comment on the action plan, but give us different ideas and come forward and say, hey, why don't you look into this project, and this is what's going on. So this annual action plan actually allows us to analyze if there's any needs out there that we need to consider for the next year. So we have not gotten our allocation yet, so this is anticipated funding, and I hope to have that by the time you guys convene again. And so we're anticipating for 2023 to have around $250,000 in home funds. There's no breakdown for the acronym. It's just home funds. It's used increase home ownership and affordable housing. So we have our down payment assistance program, and this is just a guide. We can interchange and put more money where it needs to. So if we have more people that want to do down payment assistance, and that's been, we've actually upped that program, so it's 10% of the agreed to sales price, and I've actually had 3 applications this week, so it's been really successful. We have that at $25,000, and our CHODA, Community Housing Development Organization, is a mandated set aside that we have to put 15% to the side for a housing development organization. Ours is Owensboro Area Affordable Housing Solutions, so we will partner with them on a new build hopefully this year. I will say construction prices are still going up, so we'll see how far that goes, but we'll work with that board to get that done. Home build developer, we actually have 2 that we're working on at 56 Woodford and 1535 Herr Avenue. That actually went out to bid and came back way over budget, so we're going to have to analyze. I'll have to talk to purchasing about how we can remedy that, but we're going to get those done for those. We do have 2 single-family applicants who have qualified for that program, so we want to get those houses built for them. Of course, we do take administration off the top of that, and that's about $25,000. Of course, like I said, these numbers will change once we get our allocation. And then we do have a little bit set aside for home buyer education to help those people that are just, that they've maxed out their FHA loans and then their down payment assistance. So does cost about $99 to do our course. So that's a total of $250,000 for home. That's what we anticipate. Like I said, I'll update these numbers once we reconvene. And these are I talked a little bit about the projects that we do, but these are the projects we implement. Our first-time homebuyer program, which is income qualifying. Of course, you have to provide a bunch of information, just like you do for a loan, and then the first-time homebuyer does go outside of the city and get their own mortgage, so they have to qualify on that on their own. We have our CHODA, our Community Housing Development Organization. We don't stay necessarily within the NRSA, but we do give the NRSA favor because we want to make sure we have the biggest impact with those dollars. We have city-funded new builds, scattered site, habitat partnership, home buyer education, and like I said, we talked about all those. So our community development block grant funding, or CDBG funding, is scheduled for existing homeowner exterior rehab. Of course, our downspout removal program will continue. Beautification of First Street between Hanning and Walnut is going to take place, and that we received a 75% design plans for review, so we can give them comments back. So I hope to have those completed in the next few months, and then hopefully we can bid that out after the new fiscal year in July. We do take administration off the top of that. That's about $90,000, and then we have our commercial facade program for a total of around 450. I think we'll receive more than that this year, but we'll see what that omnibus bill says. This is just another breakdown of our programming. So we have a commercial facade up to $15,000 with a 25% match. And those are flexible rules. So if we have a more highly visible program, a project, then we will give them a little bit more funding because it is maybe an entrance into either the neighborhood or on a busy street. So we're working with the Neblet Center right now to install their new sign, and we've given them a little bit extra funding just because we think that's a highly visible project, and we want to help them, but we want that to look good as well. Existing home or exterior rehab, $15,000 max grant, and it's a sliding scale, so you can see below that 0 to 30% meet LMI according to that chart I showed you. City pays 95, we pay 5, and then so on. And even if you make over that amount, you still qualify, but you just have to pay a little bit more of that grant. We do have, like I discussed, landscape design improvements on First Street. We have also written sidewalk connections into that annual action plan, lighting enhancements for safety. Pamela Canary at Transit has done a great job in updating her bus stop installations and putting lighting on them, so we're appreciative of that. And I talked about the downspout removal program. Our single-family new builds through our community catalyst grants, and this is all the local funding through the economic development fund that the city has set aside. That is $15 per square foot incentive for new builds. Single-family rehab, $12 per square foot. Rental rehab is up to $4,000, and it's a 100% matching grant. And we have had over 50, I can't remember what the number was, but that's been really successful. And a demolition grant program up to $5,000 with a 100% match. So that's the majority of my presentation. On March 2nd, 30-day public comment began. March 9th, we're here today. March 29th, we will reconvene again to discuss hopefully updated numbers, so we are a little bit more dialed in. And if you guys have any projects that you think of, and you can bring those to me, because after that meeting, then I'll put the annual action plan together and submit it to the commission to approve with a municipal order, and then I'll submit it to HUD by May 9th. And that's our comment, or our contact information for comments. So you can either call me, email me, or Evan, and we're happy to discuss or take any comments that you guys might have. Hold on, Daisy, I'm gonna.
You know I've got something to say. Oh my. First of all, I'd like to apologize. I had a doctor's appointment and I spent too much time getting ready to come down here because I had to be here.
We appreciate the fact that you're here.
Okay.
So I'll entertain any questions and comments and ideas you guys may have for projects.
I didn't bring a list, but I have a couple or three maybe concerns, and I'm not sure if we are qualified for it, you know, in the city of Owensboro compared with our previous commitments that the government has given us.
Okay.
I am extremely concerned about, we got these places like out on Beach Road, way out where the men stay and they go through a period of time with their problems, you know.
Sure.
And it's and it's a part of our agency too.
Owensboro Regional Recovery.
Yes.
Yes.
And I have been asking, what are we doing with all of these people that they go through the court system and then they come out? What have we got for them to do? Sure. You know, they don't have a job, they don't have a home, they don't have any money. And I have explored some other areas, kind of like shook the bushes a little bit, because I'm thinking that some of those can, and I want to teach them the difference between a job and a career.
Sure.
And we've got to get those jobs so they can get those careers, and then they can head out, you know. And the unions can also help us, you know, get the jobs for them so that they can occupy and stay here in Owensboro. Sure. But, or in this area. But I'm very much concerned because if we don't, we're not getting our money's worth, you know, by putting them, teaching them. And I was on a group that we had a lot of people in Owensboro that had to drive all the way to Henderson Community College, and they were students at UK. Well, you know me, I can't keep my mouth closed. So I spoke up, and I think we even brought it up here in the school system here. We talked about it, and we ended up with our own Henderson Community College. I mean, not community college, but Owensboro.
Yeah.
And I think if you look in those records, you'll see where I was running my mouth on those, so we got that. But if we don't speak up, if we notice something, everything is, it's almost like a waiting list. Everything is not going to be done, but for those things that are so important, I am so concerned about these jobs that technology is going to bring and make available, that we need people on those jobs. Up in Indiana, they gave us cars out at the community college. I think they gave us about 3 cars for the young people to learn, you know, the technology of it. There are going to be a bunch of gas, when they're not gas, but where that you can hook up your car, those electric cars.
Yeah.
There's going to be a factory and jobs for those. So we need to be getting these people
Connected,
revved up and for jobs like that. And that's right on our plate right now. It's in progress.
I agree.
So that's where I'm coming from, is just to see us, and we're doing so great downtown, you know, and you know, we're like #1, you know, in this area. We're gonna take over Nashville if they don't wake up. We don't want them to wake up. But it's things like that that bothers me, and I haven't talked to you for a long time, and I don't want to take up a lot of time here, but I will be bringing up some other things. There's some places where they're tearing down houses, and those houses are being replaced by zoning. The zoning has to replace it. It's not going to be housing. It's
Right.
going to be
Business.
they're being zoned. Some of them are churches
Sure.
and places like that. So we got to take care of home and stretch a little bit more and do some other things. And we've got people coming in to Owensboro to live that have come from other areas that the government is looking for not only jobs, but also places for these people
Yeah,
to stay.
housing. Yeah.
So learn your Spanish. I'm bad at it now.
I appreciate all those comments, and you know, I'll pass what I can along to the powers that be that are, that's their job to go to lobby for those kinds of things. I will say that I have a good friend, Erica Wade, at the center, and she recently started up this nonprofit that acts like a wheelhouse for those people in need of, okay, so now I'm out of a recovery system. Where do I go? How do I get a job? How do I get an education? She is that contact point. Her team is excellent. They are that contact point. They will take those people in, do an intake, see what they need, put them in a system of a network of what all the social service agencies do. Make sure if they need, I just, for instance, went through this a gentleman had a case that he was coming in from another city, had recently gone through medical treatment, needed a place to live. He was trying to get back to his job, and just he needed that soft touch, constant touch. And I tried to give him the best I could, but of course we've got other things going on. And I wanted to make sure he had that constant contact, and they just got him a rental house. We got him assistance to get the down payment assistance, and then this may be premature, and Jim, no, it's in the paper yet, but we finally got our grant agreement for rental assistance and small business assistance, and that's our CDBG CV funds, and that's the round 3 that we just received, and we've been waiting for those for a long time, so we're happy to get those. Hopefully we'll have all that information out the door next week, but we'll send out a media release. But we're going to help him with that rental assistance as well. So
great.
So long story short, you know, she may kill me for saying this on Facebook. No, she won't. She's very gracious. She loves her job. She loves helping people. But yeah, Erica Wade at the center. If anybody of you know anybody that needs help, even housing, she can find people to get furniture. I mean, she is just amazing at what she does. And
Who's that?
Erica Wade at the
Oh,
center,
okay.
yeah, and her team.
Okay.
So if you know anybody, you can even call me and I'll get you in touch with her. But as far as, you know, people coming in cold from other cities, we're trying our best.
Yes. Habitat for Humanity's changed heads. They were with Audubon Area Community Services as a part of that.
Sure.
So we lost our guy from Audubon, and they're doing Habitat for Humanity. Said they're beginning to build, and they've got some programs going so that we can have some stable living quarters for people.
Sure.
That's where I came up. So
Yeah.
And I can second what Abby said. I met Erica Wade, and I think she's great at trying to find people and help them, right? And there's other organizations like the Help Center to downtown, and I know plenty of people that are looking for workers too. So if you know somebody, like, let me know. We can definitely find them a job. But no, I think, like you said, there's a lot of resources. They just making sure that it's available to people where they can find it. But
Right.
I'm pretty sure that if they want to get help, we should be able to help them. The resources are there, and we can make that happen. Yeah.
Thank you, Mario.
Yeah.
well, I'm ready to roll whenever I find them.
Yeah.
And we'll push them to the top and say, look, this is what Owensboro did. It's not a single person thing, you know, we all gotta put our elbows together and come up with something, but it is obvious that our job is huge.
Oh, yeah.
It is huge, and people just don't know exactly and how much we do. And we are to congratulate the Neblet, not the center, but their program for the young men, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That is wonderful. I hope I'll get to go. I saw her the other day, and I said, I want to be there.
I'm sorry, the name of that program escapes me, but it is stellar, and Olga McKissick and Keith Cotton are doing great jobs over there.
Yes.
They're great community partners, and
Yes.
such a light.
We need to get it started before it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
We're kind of on the edge a little bit. Thank you I didn't mean to come in.
No,
and
you're
just-
fine.
and
We can
come in
talk after
late
this.
and
I'm
talk,
happy to
but
sit down and talk.
Sometimes we'll have lunch together, and
Sure.
I can brief you where some other things are and where we can tie, you know, two heads are better than one. Pull those heads together and come up with something.
Sure thing. Anybody else have any other comments? Questions, concerns? All right. Well, with that, what I will do now is take any comments I receive, like I said, from the public, and anybody's welcome to call or email either Evan and I, like I had said previously, and we'll take your comments, put that into the plan, get the plan done, and then you guys will get another notice about the upcoming meeting at the end of the month. I will thank you again for your time. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Thank you, Mario. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was Cecil. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All right. You guys have a wonderful evening, and thank you for watching.
And thank you for your report.